On the Epstein files, listen, I know this is a hot potato for folks. I totally understand. My comments were clear. I'm not paid for my opinions anymore. I work for the taxpayer now. I'm paid on evidence. That's it. The evidence we have in our files clearly indicates that it was, in fact, a suicide. We do have video. It's not the greatest video in the world. I don't want to set expectations on fire. However, the video does show in that specific block that he goes in, made a phone call. You'll see 12 hours of guards going to basically check on him, come back. You'll see no one really comes out in that bay, in that area, than him. There's no one in there. When you combine that with the other evidence we will be releasing in the coming weeks, we're still finalizing some of the products. I think it's pretty clear.
Okay, so a couple issues there. First of all, and this is a small thing, that's not at all what the expression hot potato means. Dude doesn't even understand the English language. Second, no one really comes out. Well, did anyone come out or not? What do you mean no one really comes out? Why are you being, he's like being specific, but there's a lot of vague speech sprinkled in there too. And so the Epstein thing, I guess, is done, everybody. Don't worry about it. In fact, really stop talking about it, because he didn't kill himself, which could be true. Maybe this evidence, we'll talk about what they found, could be true. Also, there's no Epstein list. There's no client list. There's no anything. There's nothing else. Stop talking about it and talk about something else. That's what Dan Bongino, a very serious person, would have you believe. And so they're releasing a video in both raw and enhanced versions. They say it indicates no one entered the area where Epstein was being held when he died in 2019. The memo says no one else involved in the case will be charged. There will be no more charges. There's nothing, no evidence, no list, no phone numbers, no footage from the island. There's nothing else. They're done with it. And so, look, they say that they took this video, the footage that had been available, they increased its contrast, balanced the color, and improved the sharpness for greater clarity and viewability, which is like what you or I would do in Adobe Premiere in 30 seconds. And that's it. That's what they have. That's their CSI zoom in and enhance. Okay, they didn't even they just balanced the color. Was the white balance off or something? What was wrong with it exactly? But anyway, okay, so we can talk about that. Does the footage prove that he wasn't murdered to cover up something? Maybe. Again, I've never been sure one way or the other. But the bigger thing to me is investigators found no incriminating client list, no credible evidence that he blackmailed anyone, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. So there's just nothing else. Nobody else did anything. No celebrities, no politicians, no Democrats, no Republicans, no Trump. Nobody else did anything. And MAGA's not happy about this because they've been sure that Epstein is evidence of the QAnon elite sex trafficking ring that they've always believed existed, and they just want to know who he's connected to. So long as it's not Elon Musk, they don't care about that. So long as it's not Donald Trump, they don't care about that. Trump talking about how he wishes Ghislaine Maxwell well, they don't worry about that. They were holding out hope that Bill Clinton would be on the list or something. And so they're all over Twitter angry about this, saying they're very disappointed. They're saying they're allowing young girls to be sacrificed while elites walk free. Love you, Dan Bongino, but something doesn't make sense. Yeah, the first part of your sentence doesn't make sense. Why is Ghislaine Maxwell sitting in jail? Which is kind of a good question if there was nobody else doing anything. They're saying he's participating, Dan Bongino, in a cover-up. Now, so a lot of people on the right are angry about this. Others are sort of doing damage control, which is very uncharacteristic considering everything they've said about Epstein over the years. So Charlie Kirk tweets, if Trump was on the Epstein list, why didn't Biden release that info to stop Trump being president? Which is a fine thing to think about. Maybe he's right there. Now, other people respond immediately that there's corruption on both sides, which is sort of the default position of the right to believe that everybody is complicit. But think about what Charlie Kirk just said there. The only thing that Charlie Kirk seems to care about coming out of an announcement that there's not anything else that's gonna happen from this is don't think that Trump was on the list. Don't listen to your intuition, don't listen to Elon Musk. The only thing that matters is that you not be suspicious of Trump. when he's spent years spreading conspiracy theories of elite involvement. He doesn't care about anybody else. He's totally fine with the entire thing being shut down if that seems to absolve Donald Trump. And if you believe that this is a cover-up, that's what the cover-up is. And Charlie Kirk seems to be totally fine with it. Now, not everybody else is. We're gonna talk about Elon Musk a little bit more, but JR, what do you make of the video, the no client list? Nobody else is gonna be charged. Nobody went to the island. Nobody had sex with a kid. No crimes were committed, apparently.
This is worse than the Biden aspect of this. He was doing this cover up because he wasn't talking about it. These guys keep talking about how they literally have it in their hands, how they have all the information, how it's so accessible now, how we're gonna be the most transparent administration in history. We're gonna get to the MLK files, the JFK files, and the Epstein files, except the Epstein files now suddenly don't exist. Dan Bongino doesn't have the same fire in his belly as he did when he was podcasting and screaming about things as a bulging vein went down the middle of his forehead. Suddenly, dude is pudding effing soft. He's a kitty cat and he has no idea how to do his job anymore. Where's wild-eyed Kash Patel at? Where's dude at that when he crossed the street, he looks both ways at the same time? Where is he at? Why isn't he talking about how this, I mean, the stonewalling between him and Pam Bondi? But suddenly the same guy that you believed in, the Messiah, Donald Orange Man Trump, suddenly the Messiah is doing the same thing. So let me ask Charlie Kirk that same question. If Bill Clinton is on the list, and if the Bidens are on the list, and the Obamas are on the list, and all those evil Hollywood actors and producers are on that list, those actors in Hollywood that are destroying the country and making your children think that they're gay and trans when they're actually not, why is he protecting all of them? Why is Donald Trump protecting Barack Obama? Why is Donald Trump protecting Hillary Clinton? Why is Donald Trump protecting Bill Clinton? Why is that happening? Why is he so easily involved with the deep state that we're experiencing and the cover-ups that are happening? So you guys are mad about it, right? You're very upset. When are you gonna finally be fed up with the lies enough to do something?
And this sort of thing, again, maybe they're right. Maybe nothing happened. Maybe there was no crimes or whatever. Or even if not all of that is true, maybe some of it's true. Maybe Epstein did off himself or whatever. Maybe that happened. Again, I don't know. I'm not stating definitively things that I can't possibly know for sure. But if you've ever wondered, why is it that occasionally right wingers try to take out Donald Trump, a guy who they previously loved? Well, I just want you to remember, there are millions of people that their entire worldview for years was obsession about the idea that there were these underground elite sex rings. And many of those people had guns. And if they took that really seriously, and then stuff like this happened, I mean, that's the sort of thing that could drive a person to do something crazy.